I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know anything about basketball. I seriously don't know anything about basketball. All I know is Michael Jordan, Space Jam, Eat Hot Chip, and lie, and also rebounds, I guess. The first time I ever encountered a basketball was back in elementary school. I was sitting with my friend after class had ended, you know, safe key or whatever, and somehow we ended up playing with the ball. Now, my friend, he actually knew about basketball. Like, he knew about basketball. So you wanna know what he did? He did the dirtiest thing to me. He committed the ultimate sin. Even God himself, the man from heaven, by the way, I don't know if you know him, even him is scared of what this man did to me on that day. He made me pick up his rebounds. And that was it. No shooting was involved. I just stood next to the net, he shot the ball, and I tossed it back to him. Now, at the time, I had no clue that I was basically being made to do the unfun part about basketball. When you think about basketball, swoosh, that's what you see. 3-on-3 Mario Hoops is also a valid answer. If it was me today and I could travel back in time, I would call him a little shit ball hog.
And teleport. And here we are, back at the start.
But I had no idea what a ball hog was back then, so I was essentially stuck being this man's ball escort without even knowing it. And that little gesture that my so-called friend did for me set up my entire basketball career as one of not offense, but only defense. And that continued into my middle school PE. When we would play basketball, I would be out there on the court with my sword and shield defending our side while everyone was off dicking each other down. Me playing basketball consisted of getting rebounds, getting crossed up, and eating balls to the face, both kinds. And it was hard work. So that basically sums up my experience with basketball. It all started with those rebounds, and you can imagine my excitement when I started reading Slam Dunk and I came across the words Rebound King to describe Sakuragi, our main character, who is this bumbling oaf delinquent idiot that gets rejected by every girl at his school. So in order to impress a new girl that he really likes, he joins the basketball club. And he gets kicked on his ass. Sakuragi is no innate talent for basketball. He's tall, and that's it. He doesn't have any special protagonist power. He sucks just as much as anyone else when they start. And that comes with the penalties. He travels, he gets benched, and his teammates make fun of him. You think at some point he would just give up, but no. Because Sakuragi has one thing that makes him special. An attribute that allows him to persevere through any sort of humiliation on the court. And that is a raging passion for woman. Yep, I'm being serious. That's the manga. That's like the entire basis of the manga. He wants to impress Haruko so that she falls in love with him. And as the manga goes on, we get to see Sakuragi go from this surface level enjoyment of basketball, aka doing it for women, to truly loving it as a sport and having fun with the game, aka no more woman, aka based Sakuragi. We'll see you on Scuffed. Back to this cover real quick. He also cuts his hair, so don't be surprised when you see panels of him with his cut foreskin head. Oh yeah, by the way, have I mentioned how hype Slam Dunk is? Because Slam Dunk is so fucking hype. Again, Sakuragi becomes the rebound king. He learns that rebounds control the game of basketball. It's the perfect spot for him because he inherently has this egotistical sort of personality. So when he's put in a position that's not necessarily the ace of the team or the one that stands out the most, he puts in extra effort to stand out, and it ends up benefiting the team as a whole. He works really hard to try and get better at basketball. It's not an overnight thing because he's still fucking up 100 chapters in, but in times when he's needed the most, the training and effort he put in shows. And because he's new to basketball, he's able to think of solutions that are outside the box and so stupid that they might just work. It's not just Sakuragi either. I think every member of Shohoku makes a name for themselves. Akagi, Rukawa, Miyagi, Mitsui, Glasses, they all have their own separate arcs alongside Sakuragi, and also all these members are just iconic as fuck. You look at them and they're up there for Vogue magazine tier characters next to JoJo's and Squidward, and it's thanks to these characters that Shohoku gets its time to shine. Those games are some of the hypest moments I've ever felt while reading manga, especially the last arc, which I'm not even gonna go into, but oh my god, that shit had me weak at my knees. It had me calling up old friends to see if they were okay. I don't know what it is about sports anime manga, but they have the ability to hype me up so much more than some really cool shonen fight ever could. It even helps me understand how dudes can be screaming at their TV when their favorite team is on. But on the other hand, Slam Dunk can sound very stereotypical. I mean, you've got the rival character to always butt heads with. Sakuragi wants to be the ace of the team. Their coach used to be a legendary basketball god who everyone admires. You see how it's very tropey, right? But you gotta remember, this manga started serializing in 1990. Super Mario World had just come out. Final Fantasy was still in 2D pixels. Me eat orange, give me eat orange, Monkey Island? Probably a lot more racism. I don't know, I wasn't there. My point is that Slam Dunk was a first of its kind in sports manga, and especially for high school sports manga. It was the one to create these tropes. It was the Seinfeld of sports manga. I mean, look at Haikyuu. It's the modern day magnum opus of sports. People love this shit. However, don't tell anyone I told you this. After reading Slam Dunk, a couple things look a little bit similar, and I'm gonna go by the dates here and say that some parts of Haikyuu were probably inspired by Slam Dunk, even down to the beats in the story. In Haikyuu, there's a plot point where they have to get their grades up for school or else they can't participate in their volleyball tournament. Where do you think that came from? A rival to butt heads with, wanting to be the ace, and a badass coach? I'm not saying they're exactly the same, but Slam Dunk walked so that Haikyuu could run. While I might enjoy Haikyuu more as a series, I think it's important to recognize just how revolutionary Slam Dunk really was. It caused a wave for increased popularity in basketball among Japanese youth. It was praised for its realistic depiction of the sport, going as far as to explain different types of fouls, teams, and real-life players. A 100-episode-long anime, video games that literally look like this. 4 movies, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a new movie that was announced and is in production right now, being directed and written by the original author of the series. It's fucking insane. And speaking of the author, Takehiko Inoue, I'm gonna be honest, I think this guy likes basketball. It's a huge assumption. You can call me out on that if I'm wrong, but if you zoom in really close right here, you could almost make out the shape of what looks to be a basketball sort of figure. I don't know, it's all just speculation. You can see him post about it on Twitter as well. It's obviously been a huge thing for him for many years, and it's amazing that he was able to inject so much of that love for the sport into manga. You can see it in his art, the way he panels moments out. It's so fluid, it's like you're sinking into the page, you're immersed in the game and nothing else. It's the mark of an amazing mangaka when they're able to make a sequence of pictures feel like it's moving, when you're able to hear the basketball dribbling or feel the atmosphere of the room. You get top class seats to a top class game and you're able to experience it from both the crowd and the players. Like, manga is pretty fucking cool. Reel's another one of his works that not only goes into basketball, but wheelchair basketball. It's an interesting ass story that explores a different side of manga while also being wholly original on its own. It's much less lighthearted and instead goes down a psychological route, talking about injuries and how they can affect the inner psyche of athletes and people. If seinen is more your thing, go check it out, but it's still going, by the way, and started before I was even fucking born. So you might not want to get into it if you only like reading finished manga, but it might end one day, and so will Vagabond and Hunter x Hunter, you know how it is. To me, Slam Dunk is the quintessential sports manga. It takes a man's love and passion for a sport and translates it into 276 chapters of fun-filled, intense high school basketball story. It has fun moments, great characters, and an unforgettable ending. And to bring it back one more time to Rebound King, I think that I felt a hint of what Sakuragi felt, playing in my shitty little middle school basketball games. I wasn't the flashiest player, I couldn't make any fucking shots, but I stood there, got the rebounds, and defended the opposing team to the best of my ability. I knew I wasn't very good at shooting, so I played around that, finding a way to still be useful to the team. And whenever someone said good D or nice steal, that only invigorated me even more, and I would go home and watch anime? What?